So, but Ms. Rice and I figured you probably needed a little tiny refresher after the summer. So we're going to do that. I just wrote SOHCAHTOA up here in the corner. This is my reference um, for which function I'm going to choose. And in this particular problem, I mark the angle and then I mark the labeled sides either opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse. I always do hypotenuse first. The hypotenuse is across from the right angle, and that's 8 in this particular triangle. And then what is the x? Opposite, right? Do you guys know that? You're in there somewhere. I like to think about it this way, like if I'm watching TV from this angle, the TV would be opposite me so I could see it. That's my yeah, I know, kind of dumb. Okay, anyway, opposite and hypotenuse is sine, the so part. So sine of the angle equals opposite over hypotenuse. And do you guys also know that the little pieces of SOHCAHTOA help you set up the equation? So sine of the angle OH. Okay, and then in this problem, we multiply both sides by 8 to get x by itself. And okay, this is very important. New for you. You need to, sorry, doing stats. You need to check to make sure that your calculator is in degree mode. Okay, so up here next to the second, there's a mode button. These ship from the manufacturer in radians. You don't know how to do radians yet. We will later this year, but not yet. So hit the mode button and you want to see if degrees is highlighted, like has the box around it. Mine is not. Mine is in radians mode right now. I want to change it to degrees mode. So I scroll down and over so it's flashing on top of the word degrees and then hit enter so it changes it to degrees mode. Okay, now to get out of this, hit second mode will get you back to the regular screen. So second mode takes you back. We're clear. Okay, now we type in 8 times sine 30 and we should get 4. Okay, if you get weird answers on your calculator, that's the first thing you need to check. If you change the mode, it should not change again. It should stay in degrees until your calculator dies super bad or you like reset the whole calculator, then you'll have to change the mode again. But it should stay on degrees. Okay, now this guy. First thing I want to mention is that this symbol is called theta. Theta is the variable that we use for an angle. And if I mark the angle theta, the 3 and the 10, I'm going to label those as opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse. Nothing on the hypotenuse. 3 is opposite. 10 is adjacent. So this is TOA, which is tangent. Tangent of theta equals 3 over 10. Okay, so this might take a little bit of memory. How do I undo tangent? It's called tan inverse. So tan inverse. Don't say tan to the -1. That's not what that is. It's tan inverse or arctan. Those are the two things that you can say properly, but not tan to the -1. Don't say it. Also, don't say sin. Don't say it. Don't say it. Okay. Now to get to tan inverse, you have to hit second tan. 3 over 10. Second tan gets you tan inverse. 16.7 degrees. Any questions about SOHCAHTOA? We're gonna go over it again Monday, Friday, someday, one of these days. Okay. We are actually done with the packet for now, so just scooch the packet off to the side. And then set up this honking graph. While you do that, I'll take attendance like a responsible adult. I know. Mrs. Sabat, you're really doing it. You were not here like for 5 minutes the other day, and it was not the same.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I tried to be here, so I know.
You were just you were printing something.
Yeah, I was thinking. Very few lines. Oh my god, that's update you. I don't think I ever Oh my god, please. I have to update Ava. She's gonna freak out. Basically, they're on full term. They just look over the floor. Okay. I you can take off all the no.
Okay, so all I need you to do right now is draw this, make the title. Oh, I forgot to put the date. What is it, 27? Okay. Eight 20, so that's a 7. It looks like a 9. Oh no. You're so good to me, Violet. Okay. 827. Okay. All right. So as we were discussing when people were coming in, you guys have learned almost all of this already at the end of Math 1. We're going to make a histogram and a box plot. We did it by hand in Math 1 though. Today we're going to do most of it on the calculator. I'm going to teach you how to find all the stats that you need on the calculator. Everything in this lesson is basically what you need to be able to get to do AP Stat. So these are the prerequisite skills for that class, which I teach in my sleep. So this lesson should, I'm kidding, I'm just saying it's my thing. It's my strength. What?
Okay, whatever.
I was just teasing. It wasn't, I wouldn't really teach it in my sleep. It's a joke about how comfortable I am with it. What?
Obviously.
Yeah.
How big is the graph?
I don't. Okay, so here's the thing about stats, which is fun. A lot of times this is the real data I put on this sheet. So I don't really know what I'm gonna get from year to year. So I don't really know how big this is gonna be. But I made mine really big too. Okay, so you guys are in this class, you're gonna do group A and group B. We're gonna do group A together. Group A is actually the map scores from this particular class. These are the real map scores from this class. So, okay. So, okay. Create 2 combination box plot histograms, 1 for each group of assigned data. Excuse me. Your group is A, and you're also going to do group B after I'm done teaching you how to do this. Start at 200 and use a bin width of 10. Okay, what that means is you put 200 right here. So it says start at 200. And using a bin width of 10 means that we're going to scale our axes up by 10s. So 210, and I'm going to go 2 boxes just so that I can see it really well. 220, 30, 40. And I know I can stop my graph at 290 because the highest score was 284. So I just need to make sure to go a little bit past that. Okay, now on the axis here, we want to label this RIT scores. And that's what those scores are called from the map test. They're called RIT scores. Okay, on the side, on the y-axis, we're going to go by ones. And we're going to pray to the stats gods. That's not a thing, but that we have enough graph here because I actually didn't do this ahead of time because it's real data. Does anybody remember what the y-axis label is for a histogram? I'm not surprised if you don't. Oh, yes.
Number like in the group.
Yeah, that's true. It's called frequency. So frequency means how many times it occurs, which is exactly what you're saying. Frequency. Frequency. Okay, there's one rule about histograms. The rule is that this bin, put a little arrow here, this is the most important thing. If you've tuned me out, this is the most important thing I'm going to say. This bin does not go from 200 to 210. It goes from 200 to 209.9 repeating. Which means that this bin is 210 to 220, 219.9 repeating. So what I like to say is this bin is the 200s, this bin is the 210s, this bin is the 220s. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if it falls on the line, it goes in the upper one. Okay, now we're going to go back to our data and count. How many scores do we have in the 200 bin? Yeah, one. Okay, so we're going to draw a line here and we're going to put one. That's the frequency. And we're going to make our bin one tall. Okay, how many scores are in the 210s? One. Okay, so we're going to put a line here. One score in the 210s. Are you getting the hang of it?
Yeah.
This is looking bad for my scale though. I don't know. Because if there's only a few, anyway, I'm worried about the counting of this. So there's one in the 220s. Two in the 230s. Ten. Did you guys get 10? 10 in the 240s. I'm nervous about the two. Oh no, I think we're gonna be good. 10's the highest, right? Whew. Seven. test scores are typically symmetric. Not all the time, because stats is never, it's not a perfect thing, but did you guys get 7, 8, 2, 1? Okay. I'll slow down, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I don't know how to do it.
It's because your math one teacher was just so
So we do like,
caring, smiley.
I love my math.
Did I tell you guys about my son teasing me at dinner all the time?
No.
So my son, he had me for 3 years. Because it was like so fun. Anyway, and he had Mr. Guinan for the last year for pre-calc. And like every time we have family dinner, he manages to talk about how Mr. Guinan is his favorite math teacher with like that grin on his face because he knows it's gonna drive me crazy. And he's like, "Oh, you know, if only you could be as good as Guinan." Oh, he's my best friend, yeah. Cool. Okay. How's your histogram? Do you think it looks roughly symmetric compared to the little pictures that I gave you guys? You could say roughly symmetric. You might say left skewed. I'd accept either one of those two. Okay, anyway. All right, so now we're going to go to the calculator instructions. So once you're done with your histogram, come down here to this piece, just this part right here. Just don't do all this. Just calculate it. We need to focus on one thing at a time. This is probably going to be the most complicated thing you've ever done on a calculator. I'm not. Unless one of you guys took stats online or something.
Looking good.
Okay, so just start with writing down the calculator steps.
What is up there? After stat help.
1 dash bar stats. That means one variable stats. Stats in one variable. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to like scoot your notes aside, grab this. Okay, we need to go slow because this is, again, probably the most complicated thing you've ever done on a calculator. Okay. The first thing says stat. There is a button that literally says stat on it, which is right next to the left arrow key or 2 over from the alpha button right here. So press stat. And then enter. Okay, now I have a bunch of stuff in my list already. Does anybody else have stuff in their list already?
Yeah.
Okay, what you want to do, watch carefully, take the arrow key, scroll up to the top so it's highlighted in the top of the column in the header, and then hit clear, enter. Clear is right underneath the arrow keys. Clear, enter. Okay, and then type in this giant list of numbers with enters between. Enters between 217, enter, 229, enter. Yep. Yeah, but if you had to do this by hand, I promise you it would be worse. Yep. After you hit enter the last time, there's 33 numbers, so you should be on line 34. Make sure you got them all. Okay, so I'm gonna pause here, give people a minute. Okay, next. We're right here in the direction. So we did stat, enter, type values into L1. That was what we did. Okay, now we're in this set. Stat, so push the stat button. And then you see how this says calc? You need to scroll over to that using the arrow keys. Yep, so press stat and then arrow over to calc. And then it's the first one is the one you want. So one variable stat, so hit enter. Okay, and you want to make sure that L1 is the list in there. Does anyone have anything different than L1? Because if you borrowed a calculator from me, my stats class uses these, so they might have changed it. Everybody have L1? Okay. What? Yeah. Okay, then make sure that there's nothing after frequency list. That should be blank. And then just hit enter down to calculate. So enter, enter, enter. It did all of these stats for you in less than 1 second. Okay. These are the ones you need. So if you could write this down.
Let me just write down exactly what it says in the calculator.
Yep, okay, and then these guys down here, you have to scroll down on the calculator to get, so.
That's crazy. That's crazy. What should we round the numbers to?
I'm gonna do the tenths place. But my question is, did anyone else get 8303 for this number?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we did.
I'll explain it all. If you got something different from me, you probably want to write down what I got, because I think I did it right. I mean, like, entered the name correctly. Once in a while, you have a mess up of typing the numbers. It just happens sometimes.
I never said my name. No.
No, you don't need that one,
Oh.
not for math 3. AP stats, yes, but
Let's
not.
help it.
We just listed the ones only that we're gonna use in math 3.
Oh.
So there's a lot of numbers in one variable stats, we're not gonna use them, some of them we just save for stats class.
Okay, so we don't have to do the EX square?
No,
Yeah.
I'll explain what that is, but you don't need it. It's actually kind of pointless, we don't use that one in stats here. Because it's just a square of it, anyway. Okay, let me talk about what these things are. The first number is called X bar, that's just the mean, so that's the average, all of them added together divided by 33, because there are 33 numbers. Does that make sense? Okay, the next one down is, that's a capital sigma. And that's called the checksum. The checksum is a way for us to check to make sure we entered our numbers in correctly. So that's the number you want to look at to be like, did you get the same thing as me? That means we all typed our numbers in properly. So it's just the sum of all the numbers. The next number is the standard deviation. That might be one that you haven't heard of before. It's a measure of how far apart the numbers are. So what that's saying is the numbers in our class are about 16 points away from the middle on average. The average number is 16 points away from whatever the middle was, which is 251. So most of the numbers are somewhere 16 points from 256, 251.6, sorry. And it's how many numbers there were that we typed in the list, with 33 numbers. And then minimum number, first quartile, median, third quartile, and a maximum. Those 5 at the bottom of one variable sets are what you use to make the box plot. So the box plot has 5 like lines in it. Those are the 5 lines. And we're gonna make that now. So scroll back up to the top of your paper. Not literally. Your box plot goes above your histogram in the extra space up here. So I'm gonna put our box plot up here. Okay. All right. What was the minimum? 202. Okay, so you gotta just do your best job to mark 202, knowing that this is 200 and this is 205. So I just sort of Okay, and then the first quartile was 245. That's good because it's right on a line. Excelente. The median is 253. Third quartile is 262.5, which you're just gonna have to estimate as best you can. And then the maximum was 284. You guys see where I got those numbers from? Okay, and then what you do is you connect the middle three, and that's the box. And then the ones on the outside are the whiskers. What? Yeah. There's a joke about like anyway. Okay, now we're gonna do something weird. I want you to get a new page in your notebook. Oh yeah, that side's fine. Yeah, just cut them out, paste them in. Socks. Yes, okay. Probably gonna need it later. You can do these in a much more sketch fashion than I did with my straight edge because I don't know, perfectionism problems. Does anybody need me to translate my font for that? So after you finish these, flip back to the previous problem. And then we're gonna do the description of the graph we did. First moment I pulled out of my house for the other side.
We thought this was like about like walking away and then I thought I had to go around them and I'm gonna get in trouble.
That's
I
so
don't,
cute.
and I was like, I don't know. And we were like, we're laughing. I don't want to get in trouble because you don't want to get in trouble.
Okay, guys, so, to finish up, I wanna say, okay, so those are not all the shapes, those are the most common ones. The thing about stats is it's not math, so it's not perfect. Sometimes it's hard to tell what shape a graph is. I drew kind of example box plots on the top, because sometimes a graph is so weird that you need the box plot to help you decide what the shape is. I was saying roughly symmetric for our graph that we did for our class, but now that I'm looking at the box plot, what do you think? Take a look back at the picture. Look at the box plot. Do you see that the tail of the box plot goes off to one side farther than the other?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think maybe it's best for us to put left skew. Does that make sense? Okay. So sometimes the box plot's easier to tell than the histogram. Sometimes you use both. Outliers are any value that's far from the rest of the data. In stats class, we learn how to actually find out whether or not something's an outlier, but in math 3, we just say possible outlier at, just kind of eyeball it. The center, there's two measures of center that we use, the mean and the median. You get those straight off your calculator. And then there's 3 types of spread that we use, the range, which is max minus min, IQR, which is interquartile range, which is quartile 3 minus quartile 1, and then distribution of the sample, this is called S sub X, like subscript X. And that comes straight off your calculator. So this is on your calculator, this, and this, just right. We just have to subtract a couple of them. Okay, so we're gonna flip back over to our page that we did our histogram and box plot on. And we're gonna fill out this stuff for that picture. And then I'm gonna explain what I want you to do with the group B data. Tell me when you're done. Okay. What, honey? Okay, now is not the time anyway. So, okay, flip back here. This is the last thing. I put it right next to my calculator instructions so you can put it anywhere. So it's kind of hard on this one. Because they're not really that far. Right. But the thing I'm thinking is 217 is in the higher end of this bar and 202 is in the lower end of this bar. So I'm going to say possible outlier at 202, but usually there would be a gap. If I want you guys to recognize an outlier, I'll usually make a gap there. Okay, and then these two I'm just going to copy straight off my list. So this was 251.6. This was 253. Range is max minus min. You guys know where I got all these numbers from?
Yeah.
My list over. Okay, so that's done. That's problem number 101. Okay, now, but this is what I need you to do. For group B, I need you to make the box plot and histogram. You do not have to write down the calculator instructions again. You do not need to write the notes again. You don't need to write one variable stats down again. You just need to do shape, outlier, center, spread, the histogram, and the box plot. Does that make sense? Okay, so make a big graph, do your histogram, and type them in the calculator, do your box plot, and then do shape, outlier, center, spread, just like this is, but for group B.
And we don't have to do a 5-number summary.
5-number summary is in the calculator once you.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it's at the bottom of it. You don't need to write any of that down, though.
Okay.
Sucks. Okay, also, do you guys know what the homework is? 103, 104, 107, 109. While you're working on this problem, I'm going to come stamp 86, 87, 89, 91. Yes, sir.
Can you put up the data distribution?
Oh, yes. Did I go too fast? Sorry. Anyone still writing down this part? Okay, I'll leave this part up. Okay, so start by making a big graph.